Hi everyone and welcome back to our channel. In today's video, we are going to discuss one of our most frequently asked questions. How much does it cost to live full-time in our van?
Yeah, we've been living in the van for about 3 months now, and so we have some idea of whether or not we are meeting the budget we anticipated coming in. And so today we're going to go through it with you line by line so you can see how much we're spending compared to what we budgeted and compared to what we used to spend living in our apartment. If this is your first time here, I'm Alicia.
And I'm Rachel.
And we live and travel in the back of our self-converted Sprinter van as we figure out what it means to
Go slow down. Before we begin the video, we recognize that we live in our van as a lifestyle choice and not out of necessity. So I want to kind of frame that in regards to what our budget looks like.
Yeah, the second kind of disclaimer is like budgets are based on each individual person, and we chose to take a pretty big pay cut to live this lifestyle, and so we are living, we think, a little bit more frugally than you could do this. You could probably spend less, you could probably spend more. And also we came from New Jersey, which is a state with like pretty high cost of living. And so our comparison points are going to be different than if you come from a place that has a lower cost of living. So with those couple of disclaimers, we think we're ready to jump in.
So let's jump right into our household expenses. Our rent monthly was about $2,000, and it was actually going up the year that we left. For our utilities, gas and electric, it averaged around $150 a month. 50 on gas, about 100 on electric. And then of course we had to have internet. We were cord cutters, so we didn't have cable, but internet from Verizon was about $100 a month. And lastly, we had a lot of subscriptions. So our subscription services totaled about $125 a month.
So let's take a look at some of those same expenses now that we live in the van. Obviously, we no longer have rent, but we do stop at campgrounds, and we have budgeted to be able to stop every once in a while at an Airbnb so that we can take a little break from this small space. So far in these past 3 months, we've averaged $835. Also, we don't have utilities because we have solar, but we do have propane and diesel, but we've only spent $2 because our tank is so small that nobody knows how to charge us. I'll include laundry in there since we had laundry in our apartment. We didn't have to pay for that, and we spent about $18 a month on laundry. We try to cut a little bit from our subscription, so we're at about $100 a month there. Our cell phones are down to $105 a month, and that's actually for 3 lines, so that we can make sure we have a line so we can monitor the dogs and the temperature when we are out of the van. And lastly, we also pay for Starlink, which is $150 a month for internet, because we need reliable internet working from the road full time. So that all totals out to $1,200, which is $1,300 less than when we lived in our apartment in New Jersey.
Our next big bucket of expenses is our discretionary fund. When we were back in New Jersey, we probably went out at least once a week with friends on the weekends, and many nights we were just too tired to cook, so we did a lot of door dashing. That totals out to about $1,300 a month. Now that we're in the van, it's around the same, but the quality of our experiences has definitely improved. We like to go to local restaurants to get the taste and experience of the states or the cities that we're in. And we've been going on a lot of tours, as you can see in some of our other videos. Pictured Rock was one of my favorites. The Sky Bridge was also a fun and cool experience to have as well. So even though we're the same with our budget, the quality of our experiences has improved dramatically.
Another area where we spent about the same is in our groceries and self-care. We budget about $800 a month here, and it is the area where back in the house and here where we are able to experience the most savings, because I'm very frugal. I will say I think the difference here is because we have such a small space to store, we've done a lot less waste of food and have had to throw out a lot less. And so even though we're spending about the same, I do think we're using more of it. So ultimately that is saving to some extent because we're not wasting as much. And lastly, let's just talk about our kind of van automotive expenses. When we were back home, we had a car payment and we had car insurance on that. And we had the van, which was paid out, but we had van insurance. So the car payment was
$400 a month.
and the insurance for both the van and the car together was about $400 a month. And so that was $800 a month we were spending. Now, we just went yesterday because we're changing our insurance to Florida. And it turns out it's very expensive here, but it's still cheaper. So we're going to spend about $350 to $400 a month on insurance for the van, which is still less than what we were spending with having two cars previously when we lived home. The other part is gas. At home, we were putting gas into two vehicles, but we were driving less, and so we were spending about $60 a week. And now we do spend more. We have averaged about $550 a month in gas as we've been traveling. And previously it would have been maybe $250 a month, maybe a little bit more than that. So that is an expense that's gone up. But I think I'd much rather use gas commuting all around the country than back and forth to work.
Facts. Another expense that we had at home was our travel budget. We went on at least 2-week-long vacations, one in the summer and one during one of our breaks for school. And we probably spent at least $10,000 a year on vacationing. Now that we're in the van and every day is a vacation, we don't really have to add that into our budget anymore.
And I think we've proven our theory that by minimizing our things, we can maximize our adventure and ultimately live a richer life. I know there's a lot of videos out there that cover this topic because it is a very popular question, and you're going to see that everyone has a different answer. And I think that's what's special about van life is you can make it your own.
Yeah.
We could definitely spend a lot less by maybe not camping or not getting Airbnbs, and we also could spend way more. It gives you more flexibility to be living in a van where you don't have fixed expenses like rent every month to spend.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching. We hope this was helpful to you. Please consider hitting that like and subscribe button so you can follow along as we continue to figure out what it means to go slow down.